They say cheese is comfort food, but what if it's quietly killing you? If you're over 60 and still enjoying cheese like you did in your 30s, this video could be a wake-up call. Because while cheese seems harmless, even healthy, nearly every senior is making one mistake in the dairy aisle that could silently shave years off their life. Here's the shocking truth: some cheeses double your risk of a heart attack, increase your stroke risk by up to 80%, and slash your chances of reaching age 80 by nearly 40%. And yet, they're still in millions of fridges, probably even yours. But don't worry, this isn't about cutting out all cheese. In fact, some cheeses may actually help protect your heart, improve brain function, and even preserve muscle mass after 60. Today, we're going to reveal the 4 cheeses you should eat regularly, and the 4 you should never touch again. And the worst part? The most dangerous cheese on our list is likely one you've eaten this week without a second thought. These aren't rumors. This is cold, hard science, backed by real clinical research that most people never hear about. Before we jump in, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from, how old are you, and what's your favorite cheese? We're reading and replying to every comment. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more science-backed, no-fluff health content for seniors every single week. Now, let's get started, beginning with a cheese that might just be one of the most underrated superfoods for healthy aging. Number 4, aged Gouda. Let me tell you why aged Gouda is like a superfood disguised as cheese. When Gouda is aged for at least 18 months, something magical happens on a molecular level, transforming it from an everyday dairy product into a nutritional powerhouse. During the aging process, something remarkable happens inside that block of Gouda. The proteins begin to break down into smaller, highly digestible compounds called peptides. These peptides are far easier for the body to absorb than the complex proteins found in fresh cheeses. And that matters, especially after 60, when your digestive system naturally becomes less efficient. Aged Gouda makes the muscle-supporting benefits of protein easier to access without taxing your gut. But here's where it gets truly life-changing. Aged Gouda is rich in vitamin K2, a nutrient most people have never even heard of, but one that could quite literally save your life. Vitamin K2 acts like a traffic director for calcium in your body. Instead of letting calcium float around and get deposited into your arteries, where it can cause hardening and deadly plaque buildup, K2 guides it safely into your bones, where it strengthens and protects. In fact, multiple Japanese studies have shown that people with higher K2 intake had up to 50% less arterial calcification, and significantly stronger bones. 1 ounce of aged Gouda provides around 75 micrograms of vitamin K2, more than most people get in an entire week. And there's more. Aged Gouda also contains conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, a healthy fatty acid linked to reduced body fat, stronger immune function, and even protection against certain cancers. What makes aged Gouda even more senior-friendly is that the aging process eliminates almost all of the lactose. So if you usually can't handle dairy, there's a good chance this cheese won't bother you at all. Plus, the beneficial bacteria that develop during the aging process produce compounds called postbiotics, powerful nutrients that support gut health, reduce inflammation, and may even improve mood by enhancing the gut-brain connection. To get the most from aged Gouda, enjoy it at room temperature instead of cold. This enhances both the flavor and the bioavailability of its nutrients. The ideal serving? 1 to 1.5 ounces, paired with a few apple slices or whole grain crackers. The fiber from the fruit or grains helps slow absorption and provides prebiotics that work beautifully with the cheese's postbiotics, creating a gut health synergy that supports your body on every level. Now, let's move on to number 3. Genuine Parmesan cheese. We're not talking about the powdered stuff in the green can. That's often loaded with cellulose, preservatives, and fillers. We mean the real deal, Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy. And once you understand what's inside it, you'll realize it's not just cheese, it's an edible multivitamin disguised as something delicious. Authentic Parmesan cheese, or Parmigiano Reggiano, is crafted using traditional methods that have barely changed in nearly 900 years. And that ancient process? It creates a cheese with one of the most impressive nutritional profiles in the entire dairy world. Just 1 ounce delivers around 10 grams of protein, but it's not just about quantity. It's the quality that truly stands out. Thanks to its 32-month aging process, The proteins in real Parmigiano Reggiano are broken down so thoroughly that they're essentially pre-digested. That means your body barely has to do any work to absorb them, making this cheese incredibly easy to tolerate, even for those with sensitive stomachs. And then there's the calcium content, a stunning 330 milligrams per ounce. That's more than what you get from a full glass of milk. But unlike milk, the calcium in Parmesan comes perfectly paired with phosphorus and magnesium, two minerals that help your body absorb and use calcium efficiently. In fact, Italian researchers found that the bioavailability of calcium from Parmigiano Reggiano is nearly 100%, compared to just 30% from typical calcium supplements. It's also a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids in ideal proportions, rivaling meat in quality. And because the nutrients are so concentrated from the long aging process, this cheese leaves even nutritionists amazed. Here's something you probably didn't know. Parmigiano Reggiano contains natural compounds called casomorphins, bioactive peptides that have been shown to reduce anxiety and promote better sleep. It's also packed with tyrosine, an amino acid your brain uses to make dopamine and norepinephrine, the neurotransmitters responsible for helping you stay focused, alert, and emotionally balanced. And just like aged Gouda, Parmesan is naturally lactose-free after its long fermentation. Plus, it contains beneficial bacteria that survive stomach acid and make their way to your gut, helping to support digestion and immune health. The best way to enjoy Parmigiano Reggiano? Break it into small, rustic chunks with a knife instead of grating it. This helps preserve its signature crystalline structure, which adds both flavor and texture. Try eating it after meals, just like the Italians do. Around 1 ounce works as a perfect protein boost, aids digestion, and gives you a slow, satisfying release of nutrients without overloading your system. And here's a final tip, pair it with just a few drops of aged balsamic vinegar. The acids in the vinegar help enhance mineral absorption, making this age-old tradition not only delicious, but scientifically brilliant. These next 4 cheeses? They're the ones you should never let near your plate, especially if you care about your heart, your memory, and your future. Number 4. Processed cheese slices. Those individually wrapped, bright orange cheese squares may be convenient, but nutritionally, they're barely cheese at all. In fact, they're about as far from real cheese as you can get while still legally calling it a dairy product. These next 4 cheeses? They're the ones you should never let near your plate, especially if you care about your heart, your memory, and your future. Number 4. Processed cheese slices. Those individually wrapped, bright orange cheese squares may be convenient, but nutritionally, they're barely cheese at all. In fact, they're about as far from real cheese as you can get while still legally calling it a dairy product. Number 2. Grass-fed raw cheddar. Now before the word raw makes you nervous, let's clear something up. When made properly, aged raw cheddar from grass-fed cows isn't just safe, it's one of the healthiest foods you can eat. By law in many countries, raw milk cheese must be aged for at least 60 days, and during that time, any potentially harmful bacteria stay intact. These are the same enzymes that pasteurization usually destroys, and they play a huge role in helping your body digest the cheese more easily and absorb more of its nutrients. Now let's talk about what makes grass-fed raw cheddar stand apart. It contains up to 500% more CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, than regular cheddar. That's a powerful, natural fatty acid that's been shown to reduce inflammation, support immune function, and even fight cancer cells. And its omega-3 fatty acid content? Also significantly higher, making this cheese an anti-inflammatory powerhouse that works on a cellular level to fight disease. The vitamin profile reads like a whole supplement shelf. Vitamin A in its most bioavailable form, retinol, which supports your vision, immune system, and skin health. Vitamin D, which is especially important after 60, when deficiency is common and contributes to bone loss and fatigue. And here's the big one, vitamin K2, -4 Malawian Quach's form, the most potent form for preventing artery calcification and supporting bone strength. You'll also find vitamin E and beta-carotene, both of which are powerful antioxidants that protect your cells from oxidative damage and aging. But what really makes grass-fed raw cheddar special is its probiotic content. Because it's not pasteurized, it contains dozens of living strains of beneficial bacteria that support gut health, immunity, and even mental clarity through the gut-brain connection. These probiotics also produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which feed the cells lining your colon and have profound anti-inflammatory effects throughout the entire body. To get the full benefits of grass-fed raw cheddar, never heat it above 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Higher temperatures destroy the beneficial enzymes and probiotics. Instead, let it sit at room temperature for 20 to 30 minutes before eating. Want to take it a step further? Pair it with fermented vegetables like sauerkraut or pickles. You'll create a true probiotic powerhouse on your plate. Stick to about 1.5 to 2 ounces per serving. That's the sweet spot where you get all the nutritional benefits without overloading on saturated fat. And now, we've reached the very top. Number 1. Swiss Gruyère. Here's why authentic Swiss Gruyère earns the number 1 spot on this list, and why it might just be the best cheese a person over 60 can eat. Swiss Gruyère is, quite simply, the most complete package of nutrition, digestibility, and health benefits you can find in any cheese on earth. Authentic Gruyère from Switzerland must be made from raw milk, not just any milk, but milk from cows that graze freely on alpine meadows, feeding on wild grasses, herbs, and flowers. That diet creates a cheese with a nutritional profile so unique, scientists are still uncovering new benefits from it. One of the stars of this cheese is the Propionibacterium fruthenrachii, the special bacteria used during Gruyère's fermentation. As the cheese ages, this bacteria produces propionic acid, a natural compound shown to reduce inflammation, lower cholesterol, and even help prevent certain types of cancer. These are the same bacteria that create the distinctive holes in Swiss-style cheeses, and they're also vitamin B12 factories. Gruyère provides some of the highest levels of B12 of any cheese, an essential nutrient for brain function and red blood cell production, especially crucial after 60. But the real magic? Gruyère is loaded with precursors to glutathione, your body's master antioxidant. Glutathione helps detoxify harmful substances, protect your cells from oxidative stress, and support immune health. But our natural production of it declines sharply with age. Thanks to its high content of cysteine and glycine, key amino acids required to make glutathione, Gruyère naturally supports your body's ability to make more of this critical antioxidant. It doesn't stop there. Gruyère is also rich in phosphorus, zinc, and selenium, 3 minerals that work in harmony to protect your bones, support immune function, and keep your thyroid balanced. And here's what sets it apart from nearly every other cheese on the shelf: protein efficiency. Gruyère must be aged for a minimum of 12 months, during which time its proteins are broken down into D and tripeptides, tiny compounds your body can absorb directly, with no extra digestion required. That means your body gets all the muscle-repairing, tissue-building power of protein, without taxing your gut. In fact, Swiss studies have shown that elderly adults who consume Gruyère regularly maintain muscle mass significantly better than those who get their protein from more common sources. And there's one more benefit: Gruyère contains lactotripeptides, natural compounds that have been shown to lower blood pressure by helping blood vessels relax. That makes it one of the only cheeses that's actually good for your heart, when eaten in moderation. To enjoy it the right way, try melting Gruyère gently into warm, not boiling, soups, or eat it with a slice of whole grain bread. That combination enhances the absorption of its B vitamins and glutathione precursors, giving your body a powerful, delicious health boost. So there you have it, the top 4 cheeses for adults over 60. Each one supports your heart, your bones, your brain, and your muscle health, and all without sacrificing flavor. But now, let's head to the dark side of the cheese aisle. These next 4 cheeses? They're the ones you should never let near your plate, especially if you care about your heart, your memory, and your future. Number 4. Processed cheese slices. Those individually wrapped, bright orange cheese squares may be convenient, but nutritionally, they're barely cheese at all. In fact, they're about as far from real cheese as you can get while still legally calling it a dairy product. Processed cheese slices may look harmless, even nostalgic. But don't be fooled, these convenient, individually wrapped slices are nutritional landmines disguised as food. Most of these so-called cheeses contain less than 50% actual cheese. The rest? A cocktail of emulsifiers, preservatives, artificial colors, and sodium phosphates that can quietly wreak havoc on your health. Just 2 slices can pack over 600 milligrams of sodium, more than a quarter of your entire daily limit, and it's not even the regular kind of salt. It comes in the form of sodium phosphate, which studies show is far more harmful. This type of sodium has been linked to accelerated aging, kidney strain, and a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. And it doesn't stop there. These slices often include emulsifiers like polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylcellulose, ingredients shown to disrupt your gut microbiome and increase intestinal permeability, commonly known as leaky gut. When your gut barrier is compromised, inflammation can spread throughout your entire body, and that's been linked to autoimmune conditions, insulin resistance, and even mental health issues like anxiety and depression. Then there's the coloring. You'll often see yellow 5 and yellow 6 on the label, artificial dyes associated with hyperactivity in children, allergic reactions, and potential carcinogenic effects. The preservatives used to give these cheese slices their eerily long shelf life, including sorbic acid and natamycin, can accumulate in your system over time, interfering with the good bacteria your body needs to function. But here's what makes them especially dangerous for older adults. These products are often marketed as good sources of calcium and protein, but the forms of those nutrients are poorly absorbed due to the extreme heat and chemical treatments used during processing. Those treatments destroy beneficial enzymes and alter the structure of proteins, making them harder for your body to digest and use. And while the label might say 0 grams trans fat, that's often misleading. Food labeling laws allow anything under 0.5 grams per serving to be rounded down to 0. So yes, you could be getting trans fats, even if the package says you're not. Over time, regular consumption of processed cheese slices has been linked to higher inflammation levels, elevated LDL, bad cholesterol, and greater risk of metabolic syndrome, which includes high blood pressure, insulin resistance, and abdominal fat gain. Now, let's move on to number 3, a cheese product that's even more suspicious, because it doesn't even need refrigeration. Number 3, cheese spreads in jars. If you've ever picked up one of those shelf-stable, jarred cheese spreads, and thought, wow, this lasts forever, that should set off a major alarm bell. Cheese spreads in jars are cheese in name only. In reality, these products often contain more modified food starch, artificial oils, and lab-made chemicals than actual dairy. The ultra-processing required to make cheese both spreadable and shelf-stable for months, or even years, completely destroys any real nutritional value while piling on a long list of potentially harmful additives. Most jarred cheese spreads contain partially hydrogenated oils, a known source of artificial trans fats. These fats are so strongly linked to heart disease and arterial damage that many countries have banned them outright. Even the so-called trans fat-free versions aren't truly safe. They often rely on intraesterified fats, a newer type of chemically modified fat. And while they're less talked about, preliminary research suggests they may be just as dangerous, possibly affecting insulin sensitivity and heart function. The sodium content in these spreads is nothing short of shocking. A 2-teaspoon serving can contain over 500 milligrams of sodium, and most people use 2 to 3 times that amount in one sitting. Worse, this sodium doesn't just come from salt. It comes from a combination of sodium-based preservatives, emulsifiers, and artificial flavor enhancers. The result? Fluid retention, spiked blood pressure, kidney stress, and an increased risk of cardiovascular problems. And then there's MSG, or similar glutamate-based compounds, often hidden under vague names like natural flavoring or yeast extract. These additives can trigger headaches, heart palpitations, flushing, and other symptoms in people who are sensitive. Let's not forget the artificial colors and fake flavors used to mimic the taste and look of real cheese. Compounds like yellow 5, yellow 6, and synthetic aroma agents have been associated with allergic reactions, behavioral changes, and even possible neurotoxicity. The bottom line? If a cheese product doesn't need refrigeration until after it's opened, it's not something your body wants, especially not if you're over 60 and trying to protect your heart, brain, and kidneys. Now, let's move on to number 2, a cheese that looks healthy and often gets served on top of salads and sandwiches. But behind its creamy texture is a hidden danger that makes it one of the worst choices for seniors. Number 2, cream cheese. Perhaps most concerning of all is what you can't see in those cheese spreads: phthalates, hormone-disrupting chemicals that leach from plastic packaging directly into the food. These chemicals are widely linked to reproductive problems, metabolic disorders, and even certain cancers, and older adults are more vulnerable to their effects. When you combine unhealthy fats, excessive sodium, chemical preservatives, and now potential endocrine disruptors, what you're really eating isn't food, it's a toxic cocktail disguised as cheese. It offers virtually zero nutritional benefit, while quietly doing harm in the background. Multiple studies have shown that regular consumption of processed cheese products like these spreads is associated with higher rates of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, especially in adults over 50. Now let's move to number 2, and this one will likely surprise you. Number 2. Pre-shredded cheese in bags. Most people grab bagged shredded cheese out of convenience. No grating, no mess, no hassle. But what you're really buying is a cheese-like product laced with additives your body doesn't want. The main problem? To prevent clumping, manufacturers add anti-caking agents, usually cellulose, aka wood pulp, potato starch, or modified starches. These agents can make up as much as 4% of the product's weight. Now, while cellulose isn't technically toxic, it's completely indigestible and can cause bloating, gas, or digestive irritation, especially in people with sensitive guts or IBS. More importantly, these anti-caking agents coat the cheese particles, preventing them from melting properly and interfering with nutrient absorption. That creamy melt you expect from cheese? It's sabotaged by fillers. Many pre-shredded cheeses also contain natamycin, an antifungal agent added to prevent mold growth. While considered safe in small amounts, natamycin is actually a broad-spectrum antibiotic, and frequent consumption may disrupt your gut microbiome, damaging the delicate balance that supports digestion, immunity, and even mood. And the cheese itself? Often lower quality, made from milk containing higher levels of growth hormones or antibiotics, especially in mass-produced brands. Even worse, the shredding process increases surface area, which causes faster oxidation, destroying sensitive vitamins like A and E and leading to the creation of inflammatory byproducts. And here's something you won't see on the label: pre-shredded cheese tends to contain significantly more histamines than block cheese. That's due to the extended processing and long storage times. If you've ever gotten headaches, skin flare-ups, digestive upset, or anxiety after eating certain cheeses, histamines might be to blame. The convenience of pre-shredded cheese also comes with higher risk of contamination. The more processing steps involved, the more opportunities for bacteria to sneak in. In fact, several major recalls have been issued in recent years due to E. coli and Listeria contamination in shredded cheese products. So when you weigh the lower nutritional quality, added chemicals, digestive risks, and inferior flavor and texture, buying pre-shredded cheese is like paying more for something worse. Now, we've reached number 1 on our list of worst cheeses for seniors, and this one's hiding in plain sight. Number 1. Blue cheese. Blue cheese gets its bold flavor and distinctive blue-green veins from a mold called Penicillium roqueforti, which is intentionally added during the cheese-making process. And while this may be safe for many people, there's a catch. If you're taking MAO inhibitors, medications commonly prescribed for depression or Parkinson's disease, eating blue cheese could actually trigger a hypertensive crisis severe enough to land you in the emergency room. That's because blue cheese contains extremely high levels of tyramine, a naturally occurring compound that interacts dangerously with these medications. But the concerns don't end there. The mold used in blue cheese, Penicillium roqueforti, produces mycotoxins, chemical compounds that, while generally considered safe in small doses, can accumulate in your body over time. For some people, even low levels of these mold compounds can cause problems, and they don't even realize what's causing it. Brain fog, joint pain, digestive issues, and chronic fatigue may all be symptoms of an undiagnosed sensitivity to blue cheese. And for people with histamine intolerance, this cheese is a ticking time bomb. Blue cheese can contain up to 10 times more histamines than other aged cheeses. That's enough to trigger headaches, skin rashes, anxiety, insomnia, and even breathing issues in sensitive individuals. Then there's the sodium. A single ounce of blue cheese can pack over 400 milligrams of sodium, and because of its bold, sharp flavor, many people tend to use more than they realize. It's also extremely dense in calories and high in saturated fat, particularly palmitic acid, which has been shown in research to be more inflammatory and more damaging to cardiovascular health than other types of saturated fats. And here's a hidden danger most people overlook: the strong smell and flavor of blue cheese can actually mask spoilage. That means many people accidentally eat spoiled cheese, increasing the risk of serious food poisoning, especially dangerous for older adults. When you add it all up, the high tyramine and histamine levels, the inflammatory fat, the excess sodium, and the risk of mold toxin exposure, blue cheese becomes one of the riskiest choices in the dairy aisle. And unlike other cheeses, the nutritional benefits are minimal compared to the potential for harm. So there you have it. For cheeses that can help you live longer, stay stronger, and protect your heart and mind. And 4 cheeses that could be quietly sabotaging your health from the inside out. If you're over 60, these small choices matter more than ever. Picking the right cheese doesn't just add flavor to your plate, it could mean the difference between a vibrant, independent future and a slow decline riddled with avoidable health risks. The science is clear. The evidence is real. And now, you have the knowledge to make every meal work for you, not against you. Now we want to hear from you. What's the one cheese you could never give up, even after hearing all the facts? Have you ever noticed a change in your health, good or bad, after eating a certain type of cheese? Share your story in the comments below. We read and respond to every one. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more straight talking, science-backed senior health videos every single week. Thanks for watching, and here's to making every bite count.